we finish it up. Anybody, very quickly, please. You haven't engaged the content at all? Oh, we will end the session. Oh, Ruby, go ahead. Ruby, go ahead. You are muted, so please unmute first, and then tell us what you saw for the second half left. Yeah.
Appeal unqualified authority.
Yes. What did you see in that one?
But that one, what I understood was that you 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 go and ask for an advice from someone who is not an expert in that field. When you're talking about a particular field, and then that the authority that you went to ask for advice.
Very good. Well done. That's
that
correct.
particular field.
Yes, you are very correct. So you are appealing to an authority. Well done, my lady. Well done. You are appealing to an authority, but the person you are appealing to, you are making a claim. You want to support that claim with evidence to show why we should accept it. But our issue with you is that the evidence you are giving was sourced from an authority, an expert. But that expert is not an expert in what we are discussing. So you have brought us expert feedback on what we are discussing, but that expert is not an expert of the field in question. That's why. So the person is an authority, but not a qualified authority. Okay. So let's have one of you read to show the point. I want the examples on the screen. Let's deal with example number 1. We'll do more examples here to give you some clarity. Who would want to read? Raise your hand if you want to read very quickly, please, so that we don't have an unnecessarily lengthy lecture time. It should be done in about 30 minutes or so. It's just the second half mop up. Does anyone want to read for us? Okay, Anne, go ahead.
Appeal to authority. Examples. Example 1. Our pastor says that prayer in public schools is not unconstitutional. Therefore, we must conclude that such prayer is perfectly legal.
Can you see what the issue is with that one? Why we call it what we call it? We are appealing to an authority in religious matters, spiritual matters, if you like, to support a claim about legality, constitutionality, what the law of the land says. But the pastor or the religious lead is an authority in some other field of expertise, not in the laws of the land. That is what makes it an appeal to an unqualified authority. The authority in question is not a qualified one, meaning that he is not in the capacity, doesn't have authorization on the subject matter being discussed. Please read the second one.
Example 2. Prof. Ebenezer Ojo, the highly respected Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana and Professor of Entomology, has recommended chloroquine for the treatment of coronavirus. And Prof. Ojo is also a learned scholar and researcher. Therefore, chloroquine should be used to treat the coronavirus.
Very good. An entomologist studies insects. Finito. So when you go and appeal to what the entomologist said, regardless of the authority he has in that field he is in, he's a vice chancellor, he will meet a lot of people, big men, he's influential, he's a full professor. I mean, it's not a joke to be a professor, it's a big deal. Eh? So we respect that authority, but this authority, no matter how much respect we give to him or her, is not warranted, is not qualified to speak to how we treat COVID-19, which is another field with its own experts who know ailments and are able to make informed expert, decisions on that. That's the whole point. Okay. So we are picking folks, or if you like, personalities that we can all revere. Look at a pastor or an imam. It's a religious leader, commands a lot of authority. He can settle disputes. People can bring their marital issues to them, very private matters. Some even go for confession, and all that. So they are authorities, but not in constitutionality. If you got that, then you see what the point of the fallacy called appealing to unqualified authorities about. It's as simple as that. No big deal at all. Okay. Then we move on to the next fallacy. That is still an informal one. You have to play the part one. If you don't, I don't want to make this thing too lengthy, but the part one is there. That gives you why we call them informal, the various categorizations, the particular instances of them, and then how they overlap and all that. You get that in the first part. This is the second part, just to top up. I've even shared a recording with you on the second part already to give you an advance. Do you know that on the 4th, which is coming Tuesday, you have less than a week to write your final exams? I hope you know. And we'll just look out for the online schedule so you know which center to go and sit to write. You will go to I'm speaking to main campus now, please. So just in case you share the recording to some other campuses so that people don't come from Chito and say they are coming to write a on-site online exam on main campus. All right. So you should have that in mind. So learn strategically. What we are learning now, you should be able to get it from class so that if you have any revisions, maybe focus on unit 6, unit 7, unit 9, and then you add the top up from here. Those 4 units, unit 10, 9, 6, and 7 are what you will expect people in final exam. If you go and learn connotation and denotation, don't come and disturb me. That I learned all the declarative, interrogative, exam doc. But you are not reading. You're not reading. That is why you are looking for connotation and denotation in unit 10, in your final exam. If you are using it to explain equivocation repeats itself in unit 10. We saw it last week, so that's different, but not as a topic. No, so the 4 topics are all you should expect in the final exam to reduce your stress, one, to give you some focus, two, and then to help us examine you on the subject matter of the course that matters. It matters, how you are able to evaluate, how you are able to examine, how you are able to detect invalidity, how you are able to reason inductively and create strong arguments and then detect weak ones and avoid them and stuff like that. Okay, so in less than a week, if you take out the weekends, you have days. I always want students to be minded. You have days, and each of the days in this week, you will be doing other courses. The courses have been, and this is the last week. So if today is Wednesday, Thursday, if you have lectures, those lectures will go on paper, and Friday the same. And Saturdays and Sundays are weekends. You will have only Monday maybe to do any final mop-up. Tuesday, the whole day is committed to UGRC150. So there won't be another day that you will decide that, oh, the thing there before this. I go feel do then you lie. If you miss it, my brother and sister, you have missed 50 marks. That's an automatic reset. You decided, I didn't do it. And then some two will not go at the time that they were scheduled for. They will to say, oh, I can go the next one. You can't do that. The exam superintending team will pick that. And so even if you succeed to write at the other center, the records there will say you didn't write it. You engage in a more practice. If I put a result there, it will be taken off and grade X will be given to you. The simple thing is keep to the instructions and you will be fine. Okay, you'll be fine. So back to where we were. Hasty generalization is the second one that I want you to look at. Look at the name. You will generalize in a haste. With few instances, you want to speak for the whole set. From what you know about a few members of the set you are dealing with, you want to speak about the whole. So if you recall those fine examples I gave you earlier, I think that we have other good ones here. So let's work with them. Look at what is there. So my lady, read for me, please. Take the second one first.
Example 2. The actress Jackie Appiah, the journalist Abiku Santana, and the influential man of God, Pastor Otabel, have all endorsed Mahama for president in the 2020 election. I think that settles it. Every famous person intends to vote for Mahama.
What is wrong with it? Let me hear from one of you. So if you want to react, raise your hand. What is wrong with that way of reasoning? The person who reasoned. Very good. Adabuga,
Madam,
tell me what you find wrong with that way of reasoning as a critical mind.
Madam, what is wrong is that they endorsing Mahama doesn't conform because it's not everyone who intends to like see the former president. So I think there's something wrong with that.
You. Thank you for your reaction. Can I have another one? Maybe it will be an improvement of what we've had, which is a good effort anyway. Where is my thing? Okay. Another one. So let's take Nana Kojo. Thank you, Asari. Selina too. Selina too is there. Go ahead, Nana Kojo.
Yeah, madam, please. The person just drew a conclusion based on the few people, few people that they show their interest.
Yeah, support. Yeah. Very good. So a few famous people, they are famous. That is not in contention. You see that? I mean, Jackie Apia is a name. And so is Mensa Otabil, the pastor. And so is Abeku Santana, the journalist. So they are famous. But they are just three. Look at the person's conclusion. And I think you guys have done well. See, it says, therefore, every famous person, that's where we have a problem, intends to vote for Mahama. When we ask you what basis do you have to say this? This is 2020, so everybody put down your emotional and political things, put them somewhere. Let me teach, okay? So every famous person, when we ask you what the basis of your every famous person claim is, you tell us three people. That's the problem. It's a you are in a hurry to generalize. Oh, pentem, ebuaten. You're in a hurry to conclude. And it's not just a conclusion. You are in a hurry to draw a conclusion about the whole. Look at the other name for it. It is called jumping to a conclusion. We got it. Very good. So some more examples would have helped. I think I'll read the third one for you to see on your screen now. On our first date, Richie had his hands all over me, and I found it nearly impossible to keep him in his place. A week ago, John gave me that stupid line about how, in order to prove my love, I had to spend the night with him. Men are all alike. All any of them want is sex. I mean, because of your unfortunate, unpleasant instances with Bush, Richie, and abusive, or if you like, intolerant John, those are two of the millions of men that exist now, the millions that are dead and gone, the millions that will be born. They are all inside a set of men. When you speak the way you are speaking, men are. And men man used to me, they try to one so you know that kind of thing. Men are not like pillows, literally like pillows for us to rely on. As for women, it be so then they remember. Lecture 1 all the way to now. I have said those examples over, I've repeated them. My dear brother or sister, how many have you met? And when we ask you for your reason, you say Richie and John. So based on Richie and John, you talk about what all men are. That's hasty generalization. I think you got it. Very good. So we move on to the third one. We are doing the last 6 to add to the first 6 we did in part 1, fallacies. What have we done so far? We've just reminded ourselves of hasty generalization. Earlier, we did what? Let's look at it together. That is it. Earlier, we looked at appeal to an unqualified authority. The person is an authority, but the reason why we are picking it out is because his authority is not in the area of expertise being discussed, which you want to make a case about. So you've gone out of that area and gone to get an authority's view somewhere, yes, but that authority is not a qualified one. That's why we call it out. Now we can go to misplaced vividness, which is the third type of fallacy we want to engage. I tell students immediately that misplaced vividness is like hasty generalization. It is said, and it is like it. In many respects, you can even think of them as twins, but not identical. They are fraternal. Now, why do I say that? Before you can claim that someone has committed misplaced vividness fallacy, there would have been some hasty generalization in it. It means simply the evidence would not be what sufficient. So there will be a problem of insufficient data, insufficient evidence, insufficient premise. It's not enough. So that one is the first clue. But apart from the insufficiency of what? The data, there is also an emotional impact around the insufficient evidence, which makes the person draw that conclusion in a vivid way. So the conclusion is generalizing, overly generalizing, because of the impact that that instance had on this person. The person had a very bad experience about that one particular thing or those two particular instances, which makes her feel or makes him feel that that will be true of all the other instances. So first, it is insufficient, yes, but there is also a sense of what? Emotions, something that detracts from objectivity. So the experience may be extremely bad or it might be extremely good about that one or so particular instance. So you, based on the experience that you have had about that, issue, maybe not you directly, but someone that you know so closely, you draw an overly generalized conclusion. You see, when our Ekueme sister passed, may he so rest in perfect peace. I think it was last year or the previous, I don't remember immediately. But the Nigerian singer with a very high vocal range, who was apparently, allegedly, butchered, what's the expression? Battered, beaten by the husband. It was an allegation. I don't know. I wasn't there. But that is what was reportedly the case. Okay. And so she passed. Some made commentaries, especially the women advocacy groups, who may have good intentions, but some of their argumentation, if you like, were just misplaced vividness. Some of them, at least those I listened to. Some were making very seasoned argument, very important. If you are being hurt, whether you're a man or woman, girl or boy, student or lecturer, if you are being abused, you don't have to be silent about it, especially if it's consistent. Okay, whether the person is drunk or not drunk, he's doing that. It means there's a problem. If the person got drunk one night and misbehaved, you shouldn't drink and come and misbehave and hate somebody's son or daughter. Some men who are being beaten, people, they don't say it. And their own is double silencer. They beat you, you can't say it for anyone to even hear. You get double insult and double shame that you two have sat down for a woman to beat you, that kind of thing. So they can't say it. So you shouldn't get angry or drunk and do that. No qualms about that. No one in their right frame of mind can say that it's okay to be beating people's daughters or sons a little. It is not acceptable. So that is not in contention. So some spoke to that and said, so you shouldn't allow abuse. You have to protect your home, you have to protect your life, you have to protect your children, blah, blah, blah. But others went into what we are doing now, misplaced vividness. They were in a hurry to generalize, but we don't even critique them only for being committing hasty generalization. We think that some of them, I think that some of them ventured into misplaced vividness to the point of saying that is why marriage is not a thing anyone should be interested in. Any woman should not be interested in marriage. What is marriage for? Really? What is your reason? Because one woman has been battered, or maybe even 100 million women. The point is, what is inspiring the overly general claim you are making? You say, don't you see the sister that is next door? Look at how Johnny Bravo treated her. Johnny Bravo treated her. She has lost all her teeth. Look at how distraught she looks. That's why, as for me, this marriage thing that people are keen, I don't think anybody, there we go, should be interested in considering themselves to be married. That is an people overly generalized claim because others too went into marriage one pair. Their whole life has changed for the better. Their families, family, their spiritual life, their children, they themselves, their businesses, because of one positive influence that marriage had on them. There are a number of them like that. Could you please emphasize the important thing? Be vivid about what is necessary about the situation. Tell the women that are in marriages and the men that are in marriages that look, if you are hurting, speak to someone. If you think you cannot speak to God directly, speak to someone. It's better you embarrass yourselves a little. If that will give you relief, or walk out of the room. When your temperature goes too high, your anger temperature goes too high, you walk out. These are all emphasis that are what? Better placed. To go and emphasize marriage as the problem is a misplaced emphasis. That's the point. If you say it is the marriage that is the problem, you have shifted attention because of the emotional impact. You see how much time I've spent on this? Because of how the situation was so unpleasant and led to the death of the person, allegedly. That can be very distraught. Children in the midst of all that, she's a church person, the churches that she ministered were all affected. If she had anyone who was trying to manage her, people who felt that she was a talent, people were inspired by her music and prayed with it. Anytime you start playing that song, you and others who found themselves in the same situations of a kind will have double pain. They will feel, oh, am I also going to die like that? The psychological effect worldwide. Okay. So it was very emotional, but it is at that time that your reasoning, your critical thinking skill has to come. Don't be emotional about matters. Of course, we are emotional beings, especially ladies. So we'll cry a little. It's okay. Sometimes I have to go into the room there, even as the president, if we were a female president or chief justice or vice chancellor, we have a very fine, woman vice chancellor. We can project strength and all that, but it is part of our makeup. Remember, I told you, the fish is not the bird. And we didn't create it. Someone created and put one in water and left one in the skies to fly. Okay, so it might come that way. When it happens, I go inside, cry a little and come. Emotions are fine. But don't let the emotions, there we go, influence your judgment of a matter. Otherwise, you will be wrong. You'll be wrong. So that is what I'm trying to show you, that here, when we have misplaced vividness, it goes beyond just hasty generalization. The evidence is insufficient, yes, but the person's insufficient evidence is also impacted, if you like, by what? That bad feeling, or sometimes a very extreme good feeling they had about it. They pass it on and overly generalize. Let's read the examples now. I think that the point is made. So, just a minute. Let me pick someone to do that. I'll take Justice Azaglo to do as Ernest, please. If you wanted to read, if not, then we are good. Justice, read for me. Example. Oh, please, can you see my screen? Yeah, it's still there. Please read.
Example
Let's
1.
read this one. I want you to read example 2. That one is very vivid. Go ahead.
Example 2. Jane, I've been thinking about getting a new laptop. Bill, what sort of laptop do you want to get? Jane, well, it has to be easy to use, have a low price, and have a decent processing power. I've been thinking about getting an RLG laptop. I read in that consumer magazine that they have been found to be very reliable in 6 independent industry studies. Bill, I wouldn't go get the RLG laptop. A friend of mine bought one a month ago to finish his master's thesis. He was halfway through it when smoke started pouring out of the CPU. He didn't get it. He didn't get his done on time, and he lost his financial aid. Now he is selling bullfruit on the streets. Jane, hey, I guess I won't go with the RLG laptop then.
Thank you, my brother. What has someone's beef loaf? Those who don't know what bullfruit is, beef loaf. Oh, that's how we say it in Ghana. Bullfruit. This beef loaf, we won't have the time to breathe in between. Now, what has see the overly dramatic way Bill is going all around trying to discredit the RLG brand because of one instance. And even that one instance, look at all the stories he's saying about it. And because of when the laptop went bad, couldn't the student have used another laptop or a phone, like some of you have been saying? Doc, please, at the time that I opened the assessment, my phone was spoiled. So I said, look, don't say those things. It's not insensitivity. I am psyching you. Don't say it, because at the exam or your pen can stop writing. What do? You raise your hand and ask for help. Sometimes the instructions will say, don't ask anybody for anything. So it can happen that your gadget is not working now. You don't have to have only your gadget before you can access content. You can even go to your friend's gadget or go to cafe or come and use the university's computers. The excuses are too many. Students posturing, not now I'm committing history generalization. I shouldn't. Many students, as soon as the gadget goes bad, they think that is an excuse that they should come and tell your internet. When you know that the course is online, we just pray it doesn't. That's why we make room for all that. An assessment that should be 30 minutes is open for a week. Why? Because we know that we are not America yet in that regard. So we will make all those adjustments, but the student has to feel responsible. You know, for example, like that's your network at that place is not too good. Sometimes they say, Doc, please, you open it for me this last time. Then I respond and ask, so this last time when I open it, how will you get network? You say, oh, that one there, please, I'll go to so and so. I said, why didn't you go to that place when the first one was open? You see that you are responsible for your own whatever. Then sometimes it settles in for the person, and then they realize that they have to look forward and do the best. Now this person is doing the same thing, blaming everything about this student who lost whose laptop. He said the smoke was pouring out of it. Yes, a gossip was pouring out, and then he didn't get the thesis done. And then he lost his financial aid. He couldn't even write to the folks and say, "This, I have a challenge with this." You can lose your laptop and still finish the thesis. But this person is dramatizing it. And then look at the conclusion. Now he's selling bullfruit on the street. It means if you buy RLG gadget, you sell bullfruit on the street. Finish. Look at Jane's response. Hey, any debut, then I'm not going for RLG. Discredited. Because of that experience, the person overly generalizes about what? RLG laptop. It says, I wouldn't get that kind of laptop. What about the thousands that others are using that haven't had smoke pouring out? If you go and put a wrong cable into the plug, won't it blast? It will blast even if it was bought today. It's a new gadget, whether Apple or whatever. Go and put the wrong cable inside and see. It will have the same effect. So it is not about the gadget. And even if it was about the gadget, do you conclude this way? This is small one instance. You want to talk about all RLGs. There's a reason why there's always a warranty. Because there might even be a factory fault that when you return, you can get it replaced. How is it that this our brother whose thesis never got finished didn't use up any of these options? And there we have Bill out of emotions, because the guy is now selling bullfruit, bare loaf, and MPhil thesis, masters for that matter, is a very bad experience if it did happen. And so they said, if you see RLG pass here, have you heard any laptop called RLG? When you see the Arab start passing the other side, that is misplaced vividness. The same thing is what is happening in the first one. I'm giving up extreme sports now that I have children. I think I'll take up golf. Then the same bill again. I wouldn't do that. Do you remember Charles? Yeah, he's going to start his kokonsa. Okay, Charles, he was playing golf when he got hit by a golf cart. It broke his leg and he fell over, giving him a concoction. He was in hospital for a week and still walks with a limp. I would stick to paragliding. His reason is what he has given you. Misplaced vividness, and I think that is clear now. There are more examples. For Uncle Sam's own is a positive emotion. Person says, "Oh, smoking doesn't do anything to us." After all, my Uncle Sam has been smoking. He's too strong. For 40 years, he has been smoking. He runs their races. He's always winning their marathons for their age group. Grandpapa, even the day he was taking the award, he was still smoking. Nothing has happened to him. So look at the conclusion. So cigarette smoking can't be as harmful as people say. Oh, because of that one experience you have, which is in your eyes positive, it means that even what the Surgeon General, that is someone who is an expert in surgery, has said, and all the statistics this surgeon has don't matter because of your one experience. This one is a positive one, of course. It's still what? Misplaced vividness. Okay. Now we go to genetic fallacy. I won't spend time on it. We saw it in unit 9 where we did causal reason. When you accept, okay, let someone explain that for me. If you want to explain causal fallacy, genetic fallacy, very good. I think the class has done what you've read. If you want to explain causal fallacy, for Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Causal fallacy is accepting or rejecting something from its origin.
Very good. That's genetic fallacy, you mean. So you accept it because of the origin, the source. It's genesis, finished. And I have given a long commentary on that in past recordings. The fact that something comes from outside shouldn't mean necessarily that it's good or it's bad. Always test it. Be a critical mind. Don't import policies wholesale, just in case you become a policymaker one day and soon. I pray so for you. Make sure that you remember. Don't be taking in just because, oh, wait, this one is coming from so and so. You so don't know. Say, don't worry. You bring them and let's test and see. Oh, is this tomatoes for our factory? Maybe you are doing a tomato factory, tin tomatoes. So you say, oh, this one we got it from the people at Akumadan. This is Akumadan tomato, you know. We got it for Akumadan, so we don't need to even test it. Let's just quickly start, processing. If you are the director of Adabuga, please mute it. Your background is a bit noisy. Yeah. If you are the productions manager, tell them that, oh, that's fine. Oh, it's from Akumadan. Oh, their tomatoes are very nice. Okay, that's fine. But bring me 2 samples in my office. I want to take it to the lab. You say, oh, waste a lot of time. Oh, this one is coming from there. It can't be. Oh, don't worry. Be patient with yourself. Let's just look at 2. Okay. Because you are a critical mind. You're not taking in by unnecessary assumptions like it came from so and so place, so it's good. The same way, you shouldn't say, oh, this is American brand, so because it could be bad. People, it could be. It could be importing a democratic system that don't work. It could. You have to perhaps fine-tune it, tweak it here a bit, tweak it there a bit. Because if not for anything, it doesn't rain snow in Ghana. That alone should tell you. Don't go too far away. There are things that may work somewhere that wouldn't work here. And that includes our values and our culture, the way we do things, how we eat. There are certain foods, if we eat here, we won't survive. Because even the setting, how to take car from your house to the lecture hall cry is a warfare that needs banku in your system. You have to eat heavy to be able to get there. Trotro station. So this tea and sandwich, one flat bread and green. Well, you eat some banku. When banku tell you banku eba, one big blow. That is if it is your your own. If not, some TZ with the greens build you strong bones to survive in that hot sun. So I'm saying all these things so that you wear your critical thinking cap. Don't be misled. Oh, this is how those people do it, and so that is how the wedding should be. Really, if it's beautiful, I can afford it, and it fits us. Why not? But this latte coat in this sun, look at the sun that God gave us here to give our melanin. I mean, He put melanin in our skin for that purpose. Who are going to wear something that someone needs because he's in the snow? That he can't do anything about. That's what you think when you do that. It means you are come think respectfully. Train a lot will change. We shouldn't go begging for anything. Collective as Africa. It's sad sometimes, it's pathetic. We shouldn't have. People should rather have been knocking on our door because we have everything. We can even grow coconut in our bathroom. Coconut. Pavement, then green grass is growing through it. Pavement. Pavement too. Cement. Green grass, green is growing through it. Some people, they got just a plot of such land somewhere, what they will do with it. We will never be satisfied because genetic fallacy. Genetic fallacy. So if you look at example 1, the person is discrediting the product just because it comes from China. Well, I told your friends, if you go and manufacture, you go to the manufacturer and ask him for a certain type of product because of your budget and your whimsical thinking. Don't blame the person doing it because Amo Potoy was at the market and fresh Amo was there. That's fresh tomatoes and then what? Rotten ones. The rotten one, about 10 baskets is for 10 cities. They even want a place to throw it away, really. Because if the Zoom Lion folks come, the baller people come, they will pay more for it. So she says, so you take all the 10 basket, big basket to 10 for 10 cities. That's rotten tomatoes. Then there's another one, fresh there, big basket. Just one is 100 cities. And you go and collect the plenty quantity and come home. When you finish that market, their tomatoes are not good. You chose it. That's what I'm talking about China. You went there to pick what you want because they can give you quality product also. So don't accept or reject just because you had a source, an origin. That's all I want to say with the long talk. The same with what is happening with example 2. The new undergraduate system is a copy of the American university system. So what should we do about that? It's being American is not the issue that we should be focusing on. It's being Ghanaian is not the issue we should be focusing on. It doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You see, if it works, it works. So we can look at its efficiency. For example, okay, we can look at how you pass on the baton from one level to another, and how that is more effective than if you went a normal system. Those are more, important areas of focus than just calling a source where it came from. Just that. So we shouldn't even query. What kind of critical thinking would that be? Yeah. All right. So if I ask for practical examples to illustrate genetic fallacy, examples in politics, examples in, if you like, maybe medicine, medical practice, examples in so and so, then you know what I'm asking you. I don't want you to just come and do two poor pass and forget. No, you have to apply the knowledge. So illustrate from the speech of, say, a policymaker in a banking institution, the fallacy of the genetic fallacy. So I'm giving you a frame within which to answer, just in case you get a question like that. You should be able to think. Look at the several examples I've given you. So the bank manager or the bank worker may be committing genetic fallacy if he or she said so and so and so as a reason for saying so and so and so. Get your full, maybe 10 marks or 5 marks. I don't know how we plan to do that for your exam. All right. Some more examples, quite a number of them for you. Let's go to the last but one. Pseudo precision. I want a good reader now. Let me take a breath. So for pseudo precision, I see, oh dear, the names are all single. I don't like the single names. Okran, Victor, Echo. Kanman, read for me, please.
Okay. So pseudo precision, aka
Please speak
over
up.
precision.
If you have an earpiece on, remove it so that we can hear you.
Okay. Pseudo precision. Can you hear me now,
Go ahead,
please?
sir. Yes, sir.
Pseudo precision, aka over precision, false precision, misplaced precision, or mathematical mystification.
Sir.
1. Exact statistical figures are used to characterize notions that cannot be expressed in exact or numerical terms. 2. The application of figures to indicate precise quantities where to date no measurement can be feasibly expected. This is often done to awe or impress people with numbers.
Very good. To all. Awesome, from the word awesome. So to awe us, to make us feel impressed. Wow. So 77.99%. Wow. Critical minds are not always wowed by figures. We look at what the figure is trying to qualify. If that thing is itself vague, how do we even test it before we can arrive at that supposed 70 point whatever percent? You see that? So if you try to pretend to be precise about something, when that thing, that concept is not a measurable, look on your screen, your friend read it, it's not a concept that you can measure. Then what did you go and measure to come by the 90.7% that you are saying? You say, so back to my example now, let me give the examples. You say 70 in a recent 2-year survey. On my screen now, please. 75.38% of students at University of Ghana were discovered to be spiritually motivated. So we can confidently suppose that over 3/4 of Legon students on campus today are spiritually motivated. The problem with this, which we call a pseudo precision, is you are giving us a mathematical figure, a percentage, to suggest a certain sense of exactness, precision. I mean, if I say 75.38%, that's like detailed, very exact, per, determinate. There's no ambiguity, it's so clear. The percentage of students that are what? We go and check that are spiritually motivated. How do you measure spiritual motivation for you to arrive at your so-called 75.38%? That is the question. That is the whole deal. When you say that you have done some research and arrived at a certain 75.38%, we all open our eyes and say, wow, they've done what? 75.38% of students of Legon have done what? You say they are all motivated by the spiritual. That's what motivates them. How do you measure spiritual motivation? Because that is what is in contention here. We will have that issue with you. What is the measuring standard? Spiritual motivation is not like the height of people or the weight. That has clear, unambiguous measurement. Look on your screen now again. So maybe your friends' reading will make sense now. Look at point 2, the application of figures to indicate precise quantities where up to date no measurement can be feasibly expected. You can't expect us to be able to measure what spiritual motivation is. What determines spiritual motivation? If someone comes and he's giving big offering, it means he was spiritually motivated. Or what? Or when they dance at church, praise and worship, then they're on the floor. It's because of Ajwasili. Ajwasili is there. That's the reason why he has come there. Is that not a possible? Or Johnny Bravo is the reason why the sister's anointing is always, she's always falling down. When they raise the song, oh Jesus. Oh, for Johnny Bravo. You say she's spiritually motivated. How do you measure spiritual motivation? It's vague. It doesn't lend itself to measurement. So if you claim that you've done a research and you are presenting evidence, and inside that evidence, your figure, which is supposed to compel us to be convinced, it's a good number. Look, 75 point something percent. That figure doesn't really do what it is supposed to do. Watch why? Because this 75.38% cannot qualify spiritually motivated, because spiritual motivation is not measurable with exactness. For you to come and have this, we'll query this for being what? Pseudo precise, pretending to be precise, a false precision. Your friend read or mathematical mystification. You're using the mass to bring you in. So the mass me bring you in. You are using the mass to mystify us. You are hunehunai us with the mass. It didn't wash. Go and do a proper research. Find quantifiable and measurable notions, and then do that work. And when you come and you have a percentage that you are producing as your output, we can all follow you in the discussion. But for this one day, it is just throwing mathematical figures about a concept that doesn't lend itself to what? Exactness. That is vagueness between the three at play here. Being vague, not measurable. The same is what is happening in the second example. Using figures. As soon as people see the figures and the numbers, they are out. They are sober. They feel that, oh, that is exact. Oh, that is so determinate. And meanwhile, we may be dealing with something that is not determinable because of the notions being used. The very last one, semi-attached figure. Take note, zero precision and semi-attached figure look alike because they are all dealing with mathematical figures. Even in your textbook, you would see that it is the example that is used to try to show the difference, because you may end up, if you committed one, it may lead to the other. If you committed this, it may lead to the other. But here's the clarity I propose to help you with. See, when you say the figure is partially attached, that's what it means. This is semi-attached. It's not fully attached to the conclusion being drawn. It's partially attached. Read it for me. Say, oh, Mark. I've had to call a person with a singular name. Okay, Derek Andolfo. Yeah. Oh, Mark, sorry, let me take Derek Andolfo just as a matter of principle. Go ahead, Derek.
Semi-attached figure. A statistic or figure is attached to a conclusion, but it is irrelevant to the attribute featured in the conclusion or indirectly related to it. When the sample is not relevant to the hypothesis. When the sample is not relevant to the hypothesis, the figures provided may just be partially related to the hypothesis. This is done to deflect attention from the subject matter and create the impression that the conclusion has been meticulously researched.
Very good. It's just an impression created. But you haven't done that. You haven't really done a meticulous research that led you to that. Why? Because the evidence you are preferring with the statistical figure in it, that evidence doesn't necessarily lead you to the conclusion you are drawing. Look at an example. You do your, see, if you want to sell your alcoholic drink as a cure for COVID-19, but can't actually prove that it works, then simply publish your lab. What you are going to do is what commits the semi-attached figure. A person tells you, just publish your lab report, which demonstrates that half an ounce of your drink killed 99% of germs in a test tube. Germs. Watch, 99% of germs. It's your drink or your sanitizer killed 99% of germs. Now look at the conclusion. And then you conclude, therefore, that it is a good cure for COVID-19. So the evidence you have proffered is true. Your product killed 99% of germs, but the conclusion that therefore it will kill the COVID-19 infection virus is irrelevant to the fact that it killed, oh dear, it killed 99% of germs. You see that? It is a manipulation. So you can enter the pharmacy, and as soon as you see 99% of germs for that sanitizer, I say, I want that one. The other one is 72%. No, I want the 99% one. And they said, oh, okay, that is very powerful. It kills germs. I know. They said, hey, to help me with the COVID. We lie. It is killing 99% of germs doesn't mean. I mean, the way people sold sanitizers, boy, people got their capital, but when others were crying, people are dying, people got big capital set of businesses from sanitizer and nose masks, and nose masks, my brother. Sure, all they needed to do was, and the 99% is not a falsehood, though. It is true, sanctioned by Food and Drugs Board, because of what they went to test. They went to test whether it can kill germs, and it did kill germs. But COVID-19 is not a germ. That's the difference. So from its killing, and you can see the advertiser. Hey, let's say my sanitizer is called Miles and Miles sanitizer, something like that. So the advertiser, the one doing the advert, if you get a Uncle Acrobat to do it nice for you, you say Miles and Miles sanitizer, dear, germs, 99% of germs, ukunu kojoto, into COVID, so COVID is in trouble, something like that. He hasn't told you that the germs are the 99% killed, includes COVID, but he's using that as the reason to conclude. So you have to see that, if it killed 99% of germs, must it mean therefore that it will also kill COVID? You, the critical mind, you have to ask that question. Otherwise, you'll be swayed. So here, it is not like the earlier one, mathematical mystification, in the sense that, as for the mathematical mystification, the figure is supposedly qualifying a certain concept that we raise an objection about. We say that figure doesn't do the job that it claims it is doing. Why? Because the concept is vague, or it's not one that you can even measure. So this figure you say you have measured and come to, we have a query. How did you measure spiritual motivation? You want to make it look like you are very exact. The thing you want to be exact about doesn't allow for exactness. That's a query for pseudo precision or mathematical mystification. Okay. Now using math, now you want math to do wonders for you, to mystify us. How will you measure spiritual motivation? That's the critique for the earlier one. This one, the figure is doing the job. So it was actually 99% of germs in a test tube. You can measure that empirically. But our query is, even if we accepted that to be true, that premise or evidence to be true, it doesn't lead us to the conclusion that is being drawn, that we have a drink that can cure COVID-19. Hey, what is the evidence you have? Oh, this drink was tested at the lab. We poured it on germs in the test tube at the lab. It killed 99% of them in 7 seconds. See how I've just reasoned. So yes, it killed those 99% of germs in the test tube at the lab. Yes, it did. And that is why the folks gave them a license to operate. But the conclusion being drawn here is that it can cure COVID-19. Is COVID-19 a germ? So this premise, even though can be accepted to be true, doesn't lead, it's irrelevant. There we go to the conclusion that is being drawn. And it is all about the figure. So the thing is not full, the figure is not fully attached to the conclusion. It is only attached to the premise. It is partially attached. So the premise looks fine, and the figure makes the premise look very good. But it is a play on numbers, a play on data, statistics, to impress you to accept a certain conclusion. You have to call it out. This conclusion, not necessarily supported by that evidence. The evidence is irrelevant, even if it is true. It is irrelevant to that conclusion. That's the point your friend read. He said, when the sample is not relevant, point 2 on your screen now, look, when the sample is not relevant to the hypothesis, the figures provided may just be what? Partially related to the hypothesis, to the conclusion, partially, not fully. So germs, the drink will kill 99% of them, but not COVID. There we go. So look at the second example for yourself when you make time. It is talking about, let me read this for you. Ghanaian university students are more intelligent than Nigerian students, says someone. A research team from Boston College discovered that at Legon, over the 3-year period, that's 2001 to 2004, watch, 75% of enrolled students had A's in English language. But in Ibadan, over the same period, only 58% of the students had A's in English language. You see, I can't even, if you God helps you, you get a little training in critical thinking. Sometimes when the people start speaking, you are even embarrassed for them. The person may be a very big man or big woman in some big office, controlling and regulating some big resources and power. And how the person is speaking, I'm amazed. How can you reason this way? How? Yesterday, just for laughs, I got a prompt from some folks that certain students have sent out notices claiming that they are conducting tutorial on the course. I tell students, look, especially those who are still, you yourself, they are carrying you. Then you also go and get someone to carry. You are now learning. Learn the thing and know. They are those whose own even stresses me the most. And don't go parading yourself as conducting tutorial. Do you know what a tutorial is? So we went through all of that. I mean, who goes to the dining hall or some lecture room or study room and goes to tell groups of students studying there that, hey, don't discuss my accounts or my fellow, don't discuss my critical thinking. Is it my own? No, you can do that. But when you present yourself as a tutor or as if you are an authority in a content and sway unassuming a student that are sometimes ignorant or they didn't even know it wasn't legitimate and unnecessarily stress others. See, others who didn't get that notice, they feel that, hey, not knowing they did some tutorial of me, I missed it. Tutorial is an official, delivery of content and discussion of content. This is a 3-credit hour course. You meet your lecturers twice in 2 hours. It's the tutorial hour that adds to make 3 hours. Then you get 3 credits a week for the course. So all courses that are 3 credits hours, that's what it means. That is why the tutor is an employee of the university, even if temporal. It is not anybody that feels that, oh, I think I know the content. So no, I'm organizing tutorial. It's a legal matter. People don't know. Okay, so this student of ours, or concerned, whatever, some of them are political powers that want to get following. No problem, do it legitimately. I queried the person. I said, go and dissolve it because the people are writing so and so time, they'll feel anxious unnecessarily, blah, blah, blah. He says, oh, he went ahead and sent a notice to the whatever people he had circulated to. But then he sent me a message and said, oh, but this thing has been going on now. Oh, I did you. This thing has been going on now. Nobody has said anything. There's a which thing has been going. I'm very patient when it comes to those things because sometimes people don't know. So, like learning that, I said, oh, but it's different from the tutoring we went to. Then later on, I asked him, my brother, do you realize that people can be smoking weed in that area under that tree, and nobody may have said anything? It doesn't mean when you go and sit there and you go and smoke that weed, and a policeman is passing and tells you, hey, Master, if I see you sitting here doing that thing again, I arrest you. You will tell the policeman, we were this thing that way. Everybody does some. Nobody says anything. Does it make it right? Appeal to the masses. When we saw it the last time, if you've forgotten, go and look at it. Appeal to the masses. Everybody drives this way on this lane. Why are you giving me a ticket? Everybody does it. Everybody is perching. Everybody steals. They don't catch them. Me alone, I went to steal. You have come to catch me. Nanka, is it right or wrong? That's the issue. Because that's for what he's even doing. That's not what everybody does. Then why are there people that are paid to teach as tutors? Because they look for someone who's an authority. So that's not what even everybody is doing. But suppose everybody was doing something. Does it make it right? So I asked the brother, you want to go and teach people? You say you're going to help people to know the content. Look at how weak your critical thinking is. What are you going to teach the people? You confuse them, they struggle. They would rather go and struggle to answer very simple things because of you yourself, how you are thinking. That, like someone will say, oh, this man hasn't been caught stealing before. He can't be the one. Look at how small your brain is. He hasn't been caught stealing before. So he cannot be the thief. People steal their own thing, their own gadgets, so that a new one will be bought for them in that room because they don't want embarrassment. Look, our brother's phone is missing. Let's do contribution. But meanwhile, the phone is under his mattress because he wants an iPhone 14 Pro, whatever. So he stole his own thing. It is possible. A critical mind, open-mindedness. Remember lecture 1. Open your mind. Be very calm, but open your mind, and then avoid committing unnecessary errors. Okay, so all those examples I gave you was to show you. Look at this one. Ghanaian university students. Look at what the person is saying. Just an additional example of the semi-attached figure, showing you the irrelevance of that fine premise with the figure there to the conclusion being drawn. The premise is totally unnecessary, doesn't have any connection with the conclusion you are drawing. That is what we fault the semi-attached figure for. Okay, it says what? Ghanaian university students are more intelligent than Nigerian students. This is the claim you are making. Give us warrant for that claim. You say a research team from Boston College discovered that at Legon, over the 3 years, 75% of students who have enrolled had A in English language. But in Ibadan, that's Nigeria, over the same period, only 58% of the students had A's in English language. So you are using people's performance in 2001 to 2004, first and foremost. In which course? One course, English language. To tell which Ghanaian, to tell what, to say that what, you're using this evidence to say that what Ghanaian university students are more intelligent than Nigerian students. Look at your problem. What is the relevance? Even if we accepted it to be true, see, the research is so true that over 75% of what enrolled students in Ghana then had A's. And it is also true that it was only 58% of Nigerian students then who had A in English language. You are just talking about English language. For a period, 2001 to 2004. So all this is true. What is the connection this has with your claim? Look at the claim you are making, that Ghanaian university students are more intelligent. Intellect. Hey, boss, slow down. That's a bold, you are making a totally different statement. Intelligent. Now it's English language intelligence. Language is intellect. Hey, don't let me say things on my recording. There are people who can use intellect. They don't speak one now. Now Ghana man, they talk grammar. My husband says that Nigeria, we say, okay, say, Nigeria go drive. Can I mean can go me recording mami be? Can a man talk grammar then Nigeria? We'll end with that one. A Ghana man will talk grammar, big grammar English. Na me go drive him. Yes, you are standing there talking plenty. Me, I'm driving. I'm driving the car. You two are saying, hey, this is an exquisite, spectacular car with a brand of this phone. So what does this one, what's the relevance of this to your claim about university student being, Ghanaian university student being more intelligent? That it is totally irrelevant. It's just a play on figures. So when you see that, oh, this one had 75%, this one had 58%, you'll be swayed. A critical mind, slow down, be sober, calm down, and look at what? The relevance of the given statistical data in that premise to the conclusion being drawn. And just in case you may detect a semi-attached figure. Some pointers. Note that one passage could commit multiple flaws, several flaws. Okay, one passage like this can have multiple flaws. So it can be appealing to picture at the same time ad hominem. You have to know the reason why you think it's appeal to picture or the reason why you think it's ad hominem, and then you're able to make your case nicely. Look at another example. You can be appealing to the people and appealing to picture at the same time. Look at the third one. I'll read that one. It's very interesting. It's appealing to threat. It's appealing to the people. It's a hasty generalization. Look at what Madame says. Maybe someone should read that. It makes it more interesting. So I'll take a woman. Mariam, read that for me. Sound like the woman, so that it will come out well. Please read. Is Mariam there? If Mariam is not there, then we take Abigail. Unless Mariam is there. Okay, Abigail, go ahead. Oh, where are the ladies? Are you there? I don't want to call the new hands. So. Okay, then let's take
Madam,
Mr.
call the guys.
No, the person speaking is a woman. So, Abigail, where did you go? You got up from your desk. Read it, Abby.
No, I was trying to unmute myself.
Unmute it. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. Please read.
Okay.
Example 3.
Okay. Annie, hey, okay. Annie, Annie, either you buy me that. Okay.
Go on, my lady.
Either you buy me that 5-carat emerald ring, or I'll have nothing to wear on this awfully bare finger. You do want to make me happy, don't you? Give me that ring and I'll love you for life. Every good husband buys their wife emerald rings. Look at my friend Akos. She's very happy now that her husband bought her the ring. And Sewa too. You see, wives become unhappy because their husbands refuse to buy them emerald rings.
Hey, this one, the pressure the brother is on it. There's threat in it. There's hasty generalization. There's appeal to people. Look at
the girls they do right
how we go do them. But you two will be Armstrong too much. For release them. Otherwise, we go do this.
Oh, madam,
eh?
when I hands there, you know.
Oh, I'm be same. I'm be same. I'm saying more thing. Now watch you people. Look at what sister is telling the guy. He said, honey, either you buy me that. Look at what she's looking for. 5-carat emerald ring. Hey! Or I'll have nothing to wear on this awfully bare finger. Awful. I say, this is my pitiable, boring finger. That's appeal to pity there. As soon as you look at it, look at how my hands look all awfully bad. I need a 5-carat emerald ring to wear on it. You do want to make me happy, don't you? Appeal to pity, emotions. Say you want to make me happy or what? You see? Emotions. Then Kojo quiet Kojo will stop reasoning. His emotions will be tickled. Then look at the third one. Give me that ring and I'll love you for life. It's threats. It means if you don't give me that ring, you continue for me. Give me that ring and I'll love you for life. Then it means if you don't give me that ring,
then I'll not
brothers,
love you for life.
conclude.
I'll not love you.
Woman power be that.
Then I'll not love you for life.
So it is not. She's not holding a knife up, coming after you, but it is calmly being said. That is the threat there. Okay. They said every good husband. Every good husband. I've muted all. Okay. Every good husband buys their wife's emerald ring. That's a generalization. Every good husband. Hey. So those who don't even have rings to give you, they are not good. let alone it being what? Emerald. Emerald is the name of a sister. Why am I going to get it? You see, so it means that if someone hasn't given their wives an emerald ring, they are not good husbands. That's a generalization there. Let's look to see if we'll see the haste in it, whether it is a hasty generalization. Say, look at my friend Akus. Who you are? She's very happy now that her husband bought her the ring. First instance. And say what too. So from two instances, she's generalizing. You see, there comes the conclusion that is hasty generalization. So we've captured all of them. You see, wives become unhappy because their husbands refuse to buy them emerald rings. This is your problem. I asked for something better. Emerald ring there. Say, if you bought me Trazaco estate. That is better. Emerald ring there. People, we are concluding with this. Don't be swayed by motivation. Motivation is for now, for the time, for the season. When you get out of that building, reality will hit you if you were just motivated. There's a place for it, but it's for the time and the season. Reasons last, they're eternal. That's why God says, come and let us reason together. He didn't say, come and let's motivate ourselves. There's a difference between motivation and exhortation. I exhort you unto good works. It's not the same as motivation, motivational talk. If you let your instincts, if you feel motivated to go and give, you go and give your car key. And when you finish and you are going home and you are walking, you ask yourself, I've acted foolishly. But if you acted out of reflection, reasoning, some will call it meditating in the spiritual palace, you meditate on it. You don't act because it's spontaneity. No. You reflect, meditate on it day and night. There's a reason. Because it will give you understanding. You see, when there is understanding, there is light. So the thing you are doing, understand. You take steps based on meaning. Not that, oh, Johnny Bravo, hey, could you touch me? Then, no, so let's go and do wedding. 3 days later, when Kojo wakes up and blows fuse, you can't live in the room. You think wedding is the 2 hours? Reflect, meditate, reasons. I can spend my life with this Johnny Bravo or Adjusty because even if she offends me or he offends me, I can appeal to so and so and so about his being or the fact that we share faith, for example, or because we have a common viewpoint about life. We'll be able to manage it. Not if I see body, see body. Hey, my brother, body go drop. Body go drop, oh, body go drop. So if that is the only reason, check. Perhaps you are being psychologically induced out of fear, out of emotions. This girl's father has money. Oh, he will help me. Oh, as soon as I don't want to mention any, but you know something good, something good, or political party change, the cash all disappear. Sister no go fit do trotro. The sister can't do the trotro with you. There's trouble. Father can't support home. You don't love her. You don't share anything in common. When she starts talking, you're angry. Trouble. Were you impressed by fear? Did you make the decision out of emotions? Did you make it out of the consequences of the act? Appeal to threat. I'm summarizing all the fallacies like that for you. Were you manipulated by the figures and the data or the language? Was there secularity all over? Or there was an equivocation that made you feel so impressed and you went to join that business with your small inheritance? You are a critical mind. Look for reasons, not inducement or motivation. I wish you well. Now I will end this, and then if there are questions, I'll take them. I think I enjoyed myself today. Maybe because it's the last one. I say, let me have fun. Because and thank you for the reaction. I've seen that. Okay, so let's take your questions.